what up, y'all? Tonight is a Bowman Chrome. Let's go. This shit is fun. The Mega Box. Not as fun as a hobby, but Mega Box, I got a 𝗕𝘀𝗵𝗿 autograph. I mean, I think you pay 40, 50 bucks for this. I sold it for 150. So this is essentially free because of JJ. But before we get into that, first let's acknowledge what we got here, the King. This is such a fucking cool card. Look at this thing. 20 bucks. Pick that sucker up. 07 Topps Chrome with LeBron. Nasty dunking. Shit, who the hell was he dunking on? Yeah, let's not figure it out now. But yeah, leave it in the comments. And then here's another one. Look for this thing. $2.50. I paid $2.50. James White was not that great of a runner, but I mean, it's a signed check. I caught one of these authentic cut signatures at a card show. I forgot who the hell it was, and I was like, I'm not going to pay $10 for that autograph. It was somebody random, and I was like, I'll just go find it online. Maybe somebody cool or like a Brown. Then herein lies. James Jackson was anointed king of the authentic cut signatures in my PC. I'm never going to buy another one unless it's Joe Montana. But if there's any other Browns ones, I'll maybe come across them, maybe get them. But for now, I just like having a check by James Jackson embedded in a fucking card. All right, so before we get into the fun stuff, let us chat. I'll put this right here just so it's kind of amping up here. I wrote down some interesting things tonight. So, like I mentioned, I want to do more relatable card to career type of references. Tonight, we're going to talk about special skills assessments that mirror the process of grading cards. So when you grade a card, what do? First thing you're doing is evaluating what's in front of you. So take stock in your skills. First and foremost, what the hell you good at? What do you suck at? And if you're not sure what the hell it's supposed to be, go on LinkedIn, go on Indeed, look up job descriptions of stuff you're doing, and start combing through and highlight stuff in each of those job descriptions that you can do, and most likely they'll all kind of correlate, and then highlight stuff you can't do. Most likely those will correlate, and then go fill in the gaps. Now, there might be proprietary niche type of things here and there, different job descriptions. Don't worry about necessarily getting your head wrapped around niche type of, proprietary, whether it's a tech stack or, I don't know, most skills aren't proprietary, but whatever it is that might be singular to that company, well, then screw it. But if it's stuff that's universal within your role and function, industry, etc., let's go. Here's an easy little hack to figure out where you might be missing out. Plus, read forums, read things, learn, digest. So first thing is demonstrate that you are not someone who's inauthentic when you're representing your skills. That's the first thing I want to come across. When you're authenticating your skills, at this point with AI meeting everyone in middle of the road or middle of the town, whatever, we're all kind of in this area together now with AI. And we're having this little forum in the community, and we're like, who's a robot, who's human? Right now is a time to showcase that you still bring authenticity, that you still have skills that can work in the workplace, coupled with AI type of stuff that might be impacting your role or impacting, again, your industry, whatever it might be that's impacting you. You still want to preach that you have authenticity, you have value that is singular to you, that will help the company and benefit them to get ahead. They don't need the technology, robots, and bleep-boop-bops necessarily. But again, it's depends on, there's a lot of variables with that statement. But just know, you want to demonstrate that your work includes human-specific ingenuity. AI can't help with that. 2, you want to utilize credentials in your industry. So if you're going through and you're figuring out what do people on LinkedIn that do what I want to do or are at a level I want to be at, what do they got as their credentials? And go comb through their certs and education and go comb through what the industry organizations are and memberships and see what they think are valid for those types of roles or within that world you're in industry. So figure out, again, what is the credentials that will validate you versus an AI, right? 𝗵𝗿_𝗕𝘀𝗵. That's a credential I own. There's no algorithm.robot_𝗕𝘀𝗵. Robots don't get certified like that. So again, there's certain things you can accomplish that are academia-based, continuing education-based, etc., that will represent you as a human versus what the robots are doing. Okay. Again, take stock in your inventory of skills. That is the best thing you can do. Now, identifying mint performances, right? So as a grader, we're trying to get gem mint, which is a 10, meaning the card looks centered. The cover of it looks good when you're looking at it like this. The sides all look good. There's no fucking phrase and there's no dings, bats, and whatever. You want to make sure that before you send it in to PSA or whoever and spend that kind of money, that it might get that 10 or at least a 9 so you can increase the value and thus make a little profit from your little work you're doing, taking a raw card and minting it. So when it comes to you personally, first we talk about centering, which is the biggest thing. How centered is it when they printed a damn card? What's the picture on the card look like? Does it look like all the borders around it make it perfectly centered? That is the comparable to how well does your daily work align with your personal work values and the company mission, right? So you are essentially, you want to drive career stability. That's your goal. And to do that, you got to make sure that you're playing up your skills that also mean a lot to you, but also benefit the company. So it's definitely a balance of sorts. What makes you useful to them, but also makes you feel like you're getting yourself your dues, right? You're doing what you want to do as well, because now it works harmonious. Because if you're doing stuff you like to do, you're never going to work a day in your life, right? The old the adage, you're not supposed to say old in front of adage. Sorry, English scholars. Okay, second, surface, which is the visibility and impact. Are your contributions visible and recognized by peers and colleagues, managers, etc.? So that's the idea of the surface level. What can they perceive? And if you get a perception that you don't like, you're in a box already, you're going to take a lot longer to get out of it versus if you would have just had a steady brand coming in and building up that brand. So know your brand, know exactly what your identity is, so then you control the narrative and you're not allowing others to tell you what you should be doing or where you're going to be placed. You're telling them, no, listen, mofo, this is where I want to be. This is a sandbox I want to play in. Here are the toys I'm bringing, and they're going to like it in the sandbox. All right, what do we got next? We got, corners and edges. Corners and edges. What? The corners? You mean all the 90s cards I had growing up and I fucking dinged and now they're not worth shit? Yeah. So corners and edges resemble resilience. Resemble resilience. Why did I write that? I'm like, my notes. Never do never do a word that starts with the same letter as the one before unless you're ready to rock and roll with that. Rock and roll. Resilience. Can you navigate job volatility and sector disruptions without losing your sharpness? So stability equals emotional intelligence, your EQ, if you will. Now, emotional intelligence is also how you can carry yourself in the workplace. People don't want to work with an asshole. People don't want to work with somebody who's always bringing in baggage. People don't want to work with people who are throwing other people under the bus. They want to work with people who are just normal, get through the day together. We don't have to be best friends playing billiards together on Tuesday, but let's at least be harmonious while we're in a workspace. So this is your inventory check of skill of one of the most important of this complete century of work is going to be emotional intelligence, because your EQ matters at this point, because so many people are high off the handle, so many people are stressed, so many people bring emotions and baggage and etc. to various things, whereas maybe the old days everyone just shut up and did work. Nowadays people are having an opinion, maybe on weekends, they might, on a Facebook post or whatever, but people are expressing themselves through outlets a lot more available than they used to be. So with that, they're going to have more opinions when they're around day to day. So if you're someone coming in with a bunch of bullshit, probably not going to be liked, probably not going to last that long, right? So take inventory of that. Two more. The 5-point career grading scale. Ready? We're not doing annual reviews. We're doing developmental check-ins. So I'm hearing more about this from my HR friends that essentially they are trying to do more check-ins versus just the old reviews. What'd you do right? What'd you do wrong? Check-ins, meaning, how you doing? How can we improve so then we can keep hitting our KPIs together, right? So, but I put in 5 different grades. Grade 5 is gem mint. You're consistently exceeding all expectations and you're acting like a role model, bringing that value. Grade 4 is mint advanced. Okay, it's not a gem, but it's almost there. You're often exceeding requirements and you're demonstrating a high value of initiative, right? You're a problem solver. You're still able to bring value. Grade 3, near mint proficient. You're successful, you're fulfilling the essential job requirements, but you're not continuously improving anything, nor are you adding value much more than just my mundane day-to-day stuff. Those people tend to just take forever to get up the scale. When they do, by the time they're retired, they left hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table because you direct me, manager. I don't want to be self-sufficient. So just tell me what to do because I'm a do-do-do-it, which is fine. Some people like that. Totally understandable. But if you're trying to be someone who wants to get ahead in life and things like that, you got to be constantly thinking about what you want to be doing to better yourself. Whether it's a Saturday night, whether it's a Monday morning on the ride in, you don't want to always be thinking about it when you hate your life and when you're at lunch going, God, I can't wait to fucking go home. I can't stand going back to work today. That stuff is never going to get you ahead. It's the things that's proactive. So if you're a grade 3, you might want to try to sharpen up so you can be a grade 4. Grade 2 is ones that need improvement. You show potential, but you're always failing at requirements. You're never really hitting all the beats you're supposed to. What essentially here is you're going to need targeted development. And at that point, you hire someone like me. Let's help you figure out where you're missing, plug in the holes, and fill in the gaps. So then we can get you on your way to a 3, hopefully then a 4, and then boom, you're a 5 where you're making what you want to make and doing what you want to do. And then finally, grade 1, you're just consistently failing. You're poor, you're unacceptable grade. I feel bad for some circumstances of people that just have a bad rung with things. They literally just were always with a bad manager or always at a piss poor company. But 9 times out of 10, those types of people always have excuses and they're always job hopping or they're always blaming someone else. At that point, hey, should I get off the pot? I don't know if I can help you or not. If you're willing to invest in it, hey, let's go for it. But at that point, it's like you need to get at least a little bit of motivation to get to that level of like, I'm willing to learn, willing to change, willing to put in the work to better myself. Until then, I don't know. Keep fumbling around. And most times, those are the people that are paycheck to paycheck and really trying to figure out how the hell they're going to make ends meet. You can't always blame everyone else for that. Now, again, societal norms and circumstances and things put people in different positions. So it's not for everybody. But majority of the people that bitch and moan about their work tend to be the ones that are a grade 1 that just don't move ahead. If you're in that category, I don't know. I don't know if I can help you. But if you're in the category of just you had a bad rung and you're that 10% of those people, hit me up because there's got to be some way we can figure out some sanity for your life because you want to. You're there, you just can't quite crack the nut of how to get through that wall and that barrier. And so I'd be glad to help because at least you have the wherewithal to want to get ahead versus, again, blaming everyone else. So, final thing, increasing your population count. Number 4, in collecting low pop counts, increase value, right? Because they're more rare. If people aren't getting a bunch of 1952 Mickey Mantle cards available, but when they do, they go and grade them. Okay, well, that's very few and far between versus, hey, I'm going to go grade this 2024 Bo Nix basic Prism card, which has 50,000 grades, right? Because there's so many overprinted. So rarity, this is where rarity comes in. When it comes to your career, this is where you treat upskilling as a competitive advantage to balance your, sorry, hold on, get my notes here all screwed up. Cheeses through niche specialization. Right, okay. So that's what, okay. So 1952 Topps, Mickey Mantle, that's a niche card versus base card, Bo Nix, 2024 rookie Prism that has nothing to do, it's just a base card, right? So there's a difference there. There's a niche, there's a rarity with the Mickey Mantle. So in your case, you want to treat upskilling as that competitive advantage to balance out your skills, gain the ones that maybe not everyone's going after. So then you're perceived more as a niche player. You're perceived more as a niche employee, someone who can bring value that's super niche. I once had to recruit someone that knew CMM, CNC, and they had to do controls engineering. They had to do robotics. So the CMM, they had to know how to do quality. CNC, they had to know how to do machining, and then they also had to know how to do controls engineering to work on these old controls robots from Ford. Sorry, this is so fucking technical. Conrad Kinsey. And this guy knew all three. I moved him literally from Youngstown to Cleveland and worked at Ford for a year and a half on a contract because he was like all excited. But no one in the God-blessed planet knew telemechanique controls because these things were around in the 80s. Ford inherited them from some sale or whatever, and they implemented it in the Brook Park facility. They needed someone that can do that, plus 2 other heads of work this contractor did, but he got paid, man. This guy made a ton of money hourly because he was a baller. He was niche. And to find those needles in a haystack or purple elephants, we call them as recruiters, if you're at that level, you're never going to have to look for work. You're going to constantly be inundated with messages. So to get to that point, either you got to be a badass multi-freaking troubleshooter, if you will, or your network, because your network is your net worth. And if you're someone that can really network with people in decision-making rooms, they're going to carry you along in your career because they know that you're a good, valid, and viable prospect or talent, right? So prioritize your internal development over your external circumstances. Okay, so prioritize your internal control of your development versus what the hell is available now. I don't know. Who's hiring there? What do they need? Oh, I don't know. Well, they might need this or that. No. Control what you can control, which is upskilling yourself and always expanding your abilities. So then when the time comes, you're ready to roll. Okay. Having said that, we are going to get into the fun stuff. So I have to pull up my list. So I got a list. And this is going to be interesting because these Bowman Chromes are freaking tricky. Every card can mean something. So let's see how we're going to do. All right, let's rock and roll. Oh, I've been so excited about doing these. Oh, of course I forget my knife downstairs. All right, that's right. We got the 2 mega box specific. So let's get those over with because I feel like these might not have much to offer in terms of like an autograph. I don't know. I feel like this one's just going to have a mega box banger. I like Lawrence Butler. That's tight. Bryce Harper number 250 with the Meteoric Rise. Okay. Hey, I never had a Meteoric Rise that actually had a number on it. That's Bryce Harper, too, so that could be cool. Yeah, Devers. Oh, Christian Campbell. This guy's a good prospect. I hate fucking Boston, but that's a good prospect. That's a good one. All right, let's see. This is so fun. These Bowman Chromes are fun, man. Yeah, Sedano. So we're looking for Condon, Weatherholt, Made, McGonigal, whatever, and Yasir Gonzalez, obviously. Those are the big ones. Yeah. I guess Campbell's not really a prospect at this point. Schwellenbach de los Santos. Oh! Hey! It's not his rookie, though. That's all right. Okay. People still like that. You know what? Let's throw him over Campbell's because I like the Dodgers way better than Boston. All right. Keep rolling. Got a Bryce Harper autograph. Bryce Harper numbered. So now let's look for an autograph. Oh no, I just freaking blew it. I just lost money on that. All right, stay there. Stay. Dylan Cruz, good prospect. Sanchez Lombard fucker. All right, what else we got? Yeah. I mean, I'm recognizing some of these things. Okay. Let's just move you guys over here. Everyone's just such a rabble-rouse over there. Hyesung Kim. That's a good one to hold on to. Caminero. Schwellenbach again. So the Hyesung Kim is a good one to hold on to, but it's not a fun refractor like Yoshinobu. So Yamamoto. Let's see. You got some trout. Catching some trout. Miranda. You know, this is an interesting one. So this guy, I just picked his autograph up. He's a sleeper. And, you know, this is not someone to sleep on. Keep it to Franks. Hey, you got a tribe. You know, it's funny, I never heard of Caceres. Is he in here? He is in there. He's tier 3. Very good. See, I'm learning every day. It's my favorite team, the Indians, and I can't find and fucking know that guy. I've been collecting the other prospects for the Indians, but I think most of them are already known. Like Bazana and shit. Okay. You got Frankie. Bubba. Quit playing with your Marco Dingies. All right, final one. Come on, autograph, man. I only got one more of these boxes. Come on. All right. Well, hey, the Harper out of 250. We'll see.